Hi and welcome to the Resources Roadhouse. I'm Wally and today I'm joined by Gavin Loyden, who's Managing Director of QEM Limited. Gavin, it's good to see you again here at the Roadhouse. It's always a pleasure. Now, you've been busy at your Julia Creek vanadium project up in Queensland. You're in the throes of a scoping study at the moment, which, talking off air, you were saying is possibly going to lead into a PFS. Just bring us up to speed on how things are going with all that.
Sure. Thanks, Wally, and thanks for having me, mate. Good to see you again. So we're just about to complete this scoping study. We'll have it completed in the next couple of weeks, but look, it's looking quite good. In fact, it's looking very good. We can't go into too much detail until it's published, of course, but this will lead us straight into a PFS. From the outside looking in, it probably looks like we're an early stage with this scoping study, but we've actually quite a way down the track with this project. We did complete a scoping study back in 2016 and looking to do vanadium in isolation, but because we're in an oil shale band, we have to remove the oil first. So that pushed us back to the drawing board, and we had to look at how we were going to do that effectively and more importantly with a strong view to the environment. And we've managed to do that, and we've spent some certainly time, effort and dollars to do that. And now we think we've cracked that, and we've built a pilot plant to demonstrate that. So we're really quite a supercharged scoping study, I guess you'd call it, and that's going to allow the PFS actually to only be about a 9-month piece of work for us. So we're well into environmental, geotech work, flood modelling, environmental. So we're a little bit more further down the track, I guess, than it would look otherwise, but stacking up very nicely. We've got the flow sheets for both the oil extraction as well as the vanadium extraction, and those two commodities in combination make for a very interesting and certainly a good feasibility for this project, that's for sure.
All right, so well, that sounds like Julia Creek is moving along quite nicely. Right next door, you've got something else that's quite interesting going on. You've got your renewables project. Everybody's got a renewables project, but yours is a little bit different to others. Can you fill us in on the details there?
Yes, I guess ours is a little bit different. We need quite a bit of hydrogen, green hydrogen, for this process, for the oil extraction, and that allows us then to get to the vanadium. But once we got into the detail of this, what was required, it was a very expensive piece of infrastructure. So what we looked at was, well, we had a chat with the guys developing copper string a couple of years back and said, look, this is our quandary, and that we're trying to get a timeline to copper strings delivery, which was a bit rubbery at that time, of course. But the suggestion was we need to make this a little bit larger and a bit more globally significant. So that's what we did. We took it up to a gigawatt in scale, and that has and we've removed it from being part of the approvals process for the mine. So it's a standalone project, not something that we're going to build, of course, because, as I said, way too big for us, and that's not our business. But we needed cheap power and we needed reliable power for our project for the next 30 years. So we did that, and we then opened up a data room to see if we could attract some global interest, and we've been successful in that. So we've got a number of non-binding offers on the table right now. A couple more coming in, and then what we're going to do by the end of this month is make a selection around who we take forward for this project, and a couple of those are strategic investors as well, who are looking for the vanadium. So it's an interesting time for us, and copper string now obviously has changed direction to catch this project as well because of the scale of it, and it's the new piece of generation that is west of Hughenden. So if you have a look at the copper string layout, you'll see that the last piece of wind generation is at Hughenden. This piece in the middle of the puzzle, halfway between there and Mount Isa, will provide that level of generation that's required for that system. So that's a $5 billion government now owned project that was announced back in March. So all the pieces of this puzzle have come together very nicely for us at this point in time, and certainly gives us some confidence to go forward. So we had an issue around power supply. We've also had an issue around water supply. So we've taken this common user approach, which is the state government here in Queensland is quite enamoured of. And so we speak to the other vanadium proponents in the area, and together we have developed a pipeline concept to bring water via from Lake Julius, I should say, via the pipeline that exists already to Cloncurry. So it's about 120 k's from Cloncurry to Julia Creek. But the consortium, the loose affiliation we call it, the Queensland Consortium of Vanadium Producers, have got together and done this engineering study, and we'll now put that back to the state as a piece of infrastructure. The state here in Queensland through Sunwater owns that asset, similarly as they own the power grid. So this is why it's an interesting concept to bring forward. We took that same approach to to process delivery, and the government has backed us with a $75 million demonstration facility, which is under development in Townsville. And again, it's the 6 companies that are looking to do vanadium in that area of Julia Creek and Richmond come together. The government can then back that, and that's where we'll be able to do a demonstration process for vanadium extraction. So rather than each company having to do that themselves, the government's got behind that. And they love the concept because they can build batteries here in Queensland.
Because I'm just thinking you were talking then, Gavin, I'm like, the Queensland government, obviously they're going to be looking for a new solution to power because everybody's saying, okay, Queensland, you've got to phase out your coal, you've got to phase out your reliance on coal. And so obviously the state government up there is, they're looking around. They need some sort of system in place, and looks like you're very well placed there.
Yeah, look, we are. I think they've recognised the fact that, vanadium batteries, or vanadium redox flow batteries as they're known, invented in Australia, by the way, only require vanadium to get going. You don't need cobalt, nickel, manganese. And we have, Australia has 18% of global resource. So 64% from China, another 20% from Russia. And we've got 18% of global resource, and no one's actually producing here yet. You've got the Western Australian guys through AVL and those guys working on their projects there. That's a little bit different, hard rock and magnetite. This is in an oil shale unit, so we're all in a similar position here, but we're a little bit unique that we see the value in extracting that oil as well, because it's quickly becoming a bit of a security issue with geopolitical tensions rising in the area. We have no supply. I think we import 98% of diesel at the moment. Our objective is to meet a small piece of that market, but it's really just a byproduct to get to the vanadium. This has always been a vanadium project. That's what we need to do, and we need to remove that oil to be able to get to the vanadium. It's just not chemically available to us otherwise.
I mean, we've had a chat about vanadium batteries before, about where they can be used and where they're so advantageous. They can be used in a small block of flats, or they could be used in a street, or they could be used in a neighbourhood. So there is a very interesting future down the road here, I'd say.
And I think that you're right to point out some of those applications. And really, the essence of that is the safety of these things. They do not catch on fire. That's impossible. They're liquid batteries. So that safety aspect of it really makes them suitable for those in-close solutions, as you've just suggested, in the home, in apartment blocks, and certainly for grid applications and off-the-grid applications. And I think you'll see a lot of them start to roll out. There's over 200 globally in commission at the moment, growing at about 42% year on year. So it's about to overtake steel as the largest use of vanadium, because you need volumes of this stuff as opposed to steel. Steel, you need about half a kilo to double the strength of a ton of steel. For these batteries, you need 9.2 tons of high purity V2O5 per megawatt of storage. So when you're talking 24 gigawatts, that's a lot of vanadium, and that's why we can be quite cooperative with the other guys, and we are, because we really need all of us to get up, and including the guys in the West. So we need everyone to get up here at the moment to start bringing these solutions on board, to start to meet some of these timelines they set before us.
All right, Gavin, as always, it's always very interesting to sit down and have a chat with you about vanadium and what's going to happen with it. Look forward to catching up in a couple of weeks when we meet on the Gold Coast for the investment showcase. But until then, thanks once again for dropping into the Roadhouse. And we look forward to our chat in a couple of weeks.
No worries, Wally. Look forward to seeing you there, mate.